namely that antidepressants often do not do what they promise and are in fact causing harm to many.
Dr. Steve Hotze is suing over Obamacare's employer mandate.
It's time for a wellness revolution. Brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness Center. Honest discussion on maintaining health and wellness naturally to enjoy a better quality of life.
He's the doctor fighting to let you keep your doctor.
Now, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Joining us here at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, I'm Stacy Banfield with Dr. Stephen Hotze, founder of the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then call us at 281-698-8679, and we'll be happy to send you a complimentary copy of Dr. Hotze's book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness. That's 281-698-8679. Dr. Hotze, how are you today?
Nope. 281-698-8698.
Oh, 8698.
Oh, they'll be calling you.
You caught me. You caught me.
They'll be calling you. That's 281-698-8679. Thank you, Stacey, so much. And thank each one of you for joining us here today on Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. We are starting and leading a wellness revolution, starting right here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center in Houston, Texas, spreading across our city and our county, across Texas, across the United States, across the world. It's a wellness revolution. We have helped over 31,000 individuals since we founded the Hotze Health and Wellness Center 27 years ago. Our goal is to help 3 million. Yesterday we had Dr. Erica Schwartz on, who is a internal medicine physician who practices the same kind of health and wellness practice in New York City that we practice here. And she has an organization called Better Health Initiative in nationwide. She's got about 15,000 doctors that go to that. It's called bhionline.org. You ought to look at that. But we talked yesterday about how we can raise up these doctors and train them in our protocols so they can help 3 million people over the next 27 years. So we have a big, hairy, audacious goal.
We do.
Here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center to lead a wellness revolution that will help 3 million people. We need to raise up 10,000 doctors to follow our protocols and to follow our way of operating our enterprises, providing extraordinary hospitality and guest experiences to our guests who come in here, and then to provide them with recommendations that will help them do a 180 and take charge of your health. That's what we want you to do, is to do a 180. Think of it like this. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, I can tell you you're on the wrong side of the freeway, barreling down the freeway on a one-way street going the wrong way, and guess what? There's some Mack truck coming over there. It's going to whack you. And when that happens, it won't be pretty. If you live, it won't be pretty. If you die, it's not going to be pretty for the family. You have a responsibility before God and for yourself and for your family to get yourself in the best possible physical health you can. You got to be mentally healthy and spiritually healthy too. And we can talk about that sometime. We may bring in Dr. Ed Young from Second Baptist and have him talk about spiritual health. But we're talking about taking care of the body God's giving you and keep it in the best possible shape so that you'll be able to do what God's called you to do in life. And whether it's running a business, whether it's being a minister at a church, whether it's being a mom at home, whether it's being a school teacher, no matter what God's called you to do, you want to be physically fit so you can do it exceptionally well. And so we want to do that. And so I want you to join this wellness revolution. I want to ask you today to tell your friends, your family members, your friends, your church members, associates of yours, friends you play golf with, friends you go to bunco with, ladies, your friends. Tell them to listen to our program. Let's get as many people as we can to learn about how to improve their health naturally without using pharmaceutical drugs so that they can obtain and maintain health and wellness naturally. Hey, that's a novel concept. Want to be healthy? Well, God's given the body amazing restorative power. If you put the right molecules in your body, which starts with what you eat, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. He was right on target, and the longer I'm in the practice of medicine and doing health and wellness, I see that the most essential thing you can do is to eat right. That's a paleo diet is what we recommend here. Paleolithic diet, that's where our forefathers back in the old days, thousands of years ago, ate before they came out with grains and sugars and all this stuff that causes inflammation in our body and leads to heart disease and get weight gain and diabetes and high blood pressure and Alzheimer's disease and degenerative arthritis and you name it. These foods that we eat, although we love them, I love them. I love good sourdough bread with butter. I could eat that all day.
It's addictive.
But you know what? I can do without it or dramatically minimize its use so that it's only on a special occasion I may have a piece. But it's not something that I consume on a regular basis when I go into a restaurant. So anyway, we have got a great program today. We have Dr. Peter Breggin. Dr. Breggin is from Ithaca, New York. And Dr. Breggin is the leading spokesman who's leading a wellness revolution in the psychiatric field. He is a man of strong convictions who absolutely opposes the use of the psychoactive drugs, the antidepressants, the anti-anxiety drugs, the sleep drugs that are benzodiazepines like Lunesta and Ambien. These drugs that have an addictive effect and cause personality and behavioral changes in the people they take them. He has been the scientific witness in hundreds of cases where lawsuits have been brought against the drug companies by people or families of individuals who have been harmed or harmed other people using these very dangerous drugs, the SSRI antidepressants like Prozac and Paxil and the norepinephrine serotonin reuptake inhibitors like Effexor and all these, Luvoxil and the whole bunch of them. These are dangerous. Dr. Breggin has written numerous books about psychoactive drugs that starting way back in 91, he wrote Toxic Psychiatry, wrote Talking Back to Ritalin, the Antidepressant Fact Book, the Ritalin Fact Book, The Heart of Being Helpful, Brain Disabling Treatments, Brain Disabling Treatments in Psychiatry, which are drugs, electroshock, and psychopharmaceutical complex. And finally, he wrote in 2008, Medication Madness, a psychiatrist exposes the dangers of mind-altering drugs. We're here today to warn you so you can warn your loved ones about the dangerous effects of these antidepressants. Dr. Breggin, we've got just a minute before we go to our break. I want to bring you on. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, I'm delighted to be with you.
Glad to have you back. It's been a couple of years since we've had you on the program, so I'm glad to have you back, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to visit with you today about the danger of these drugs and what the alternatives are, what can be done. And first, when we come back, I want you to tell us your story. You have a fascinating story of when you figured out that this was not a good way to go, the use of all these neuroleptic drugs, these psychoactive drugs, the antidepressants and all that when you come back. So we'll be back with Dr. Breggin. Dr. Breggin, thank you for joining us here today.
You're listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, your daily dose of radio reality.
Thank you for tuning into Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. I'm Stacey Banfield with Dr. Stephen Hotze, and if you would like more information on becoming healthy and well, then please call us at 281-698-8698, or you can reach us at getyourlifeback.com, and we will send you a complimentary copy of Dr. Hotze's book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness. That's getyourlifeback.com. Dr. Hotze.
Thank you so much, Stacey, and thank each one of you for joining us today on Wellness Revolution. We are starting and leading a wellness revolution so that you can do a 180 and take charge of your health and get your life back. We're visiting today with Dr. Peter Breggin. Dr. Breggin's a psychiatrist, which ought to raise everybody's shackles. Oh, my gosh, the last thing I want to hear from is a psychiatrist. The thing is, Dr. Bregan is a naturalist when it comes to psychiatry. He doesn't prescribe all these very harmful psychotropic drugs. He's fought the use of these drugs as well as electroconvulsive therapy for decades. He's been a leading spokesman speaking out. He's met with the FDA. He's the one, through his testimony, that got the FDA finally in 2004 to put a black label on all the antidepressants saying they can lead to suicidal ideation. That was known back in 1987, and he had to fight for nearly 20 years to get that done, and I commend him for that. He's written numerous books on the issues of psychiatry and the dangers of these drugs. He's defended many individuals and also been a star witness and a scientific witness in cases suing the pharmaceutical companies for the damage that their harmful psychotropic drugs caused in individuals and in family members of the plaintiffs. So, Dr. Bregan, thank you for being here. Tell us about your experience. What was the turning point that made you realize that these psychotropic drugs were extremely dangerous?
Well, it started really early. I was an 18-year-old freshman at Harvard College. A friend of mine invited me to go out to the local state mental hospital.
That'd be a nice, good hey, why don't we go to the state hospital this afternoon?
So, Peter, get off your behind is what he said. You're studying all the time.
Uh-huh.
You got to do something else. Let's go volunteer. So we went out to the hospital, and it was 1954, just before the heavy antipsychotic drugs came in. And I ended up spending much of my time for the next 4 years on the wards of the hospital. I ended up becoming a chairman of the program for a year or two, and we even wrote a book about it. And from the beginning, it was obvious to me that these things the doctors were doing, shocking people's brains with electricity, putting them into dreadful, death-defying comas by overdosing them with insulin, so-called insulin coma treatment, the various drugs that were making them very sick and weak, that all of this was just a matter of controlling people and that it wasn't really helping, that the psychiatrists weren't even really thinking about helping people so much as quieting them or making them more manageable. And then I organized a group of us and got permission to have some of us, about 12 of us, have our own patients for the year. We also had a couple of hundred people volunteering. And over a year, we got most of our patients out of the hospital, which shocked them, the doctors immensely, because they weren't getting any of these people out of the hospital. And that began my career. I thought, well, I guess I won't be a professor of history and literature. It looks like I'm supposed to be a psychiatrist. And the odd thing is that back then there was actually more, at least toleration of psychosocial approaches to helping people and common sense approaches to helping people. But now that the drug companies really run psychiatry and therefore run the whole pharmaceutical application, whether it's a pediatrician, or your nurse practitioner or your gynecologist or surgeon giving you a psychiatric drug, it starts with the drug companies working with the psychiatrists to develop the promotion, which is typically fraudulent promotion of these drugs. So I knew I knew from the beginning that what helped people were not agents that harmed the brain, that there was human services and good health and basic, straightforward, common sense wisdom about living life. That's how I got started.
That's right. And then you went off. You went to medical school at up there in the state of New York Medical School, University.
Actually, I went to Ohio to Case Western Reserve. Those days it was called Western Reserve. And then I took my internship and most of my residency at the Upstate Medical Center, and I also took a year at Harvard, which turned out to be the most bizarre year because if you were a good enough student and a competitive enough student to get A's in all your science courses, by the time you got that's how you got accepted at Harvard. And when and with the